The only race where it's luck of the draw. And starting 235 and 247 meant there was 234 cars in front of Scoop, and there was 246 cars in front of us. So the dust was terrible when we started. And really, even though our cars are more powerful and have a higher top end and more speed to them, you can only go as fast as you can see. So a lot of times the slower buggies, even though they were, if we put the two of them together and went out and run, we'd be much faster. In the dust, we couldn't run any faster because we couldn't see any further than they could see. Well, from 20 minutes into the race, we started having problems. We started having brake problems. So without brakes, trying to play catch-up, it was tremendously dangerous. At times we couldn't even see the dash in the car, and it's mainly because of the silt. And silt is something similar to talcum powder, is the easiest way to describe it. And when you hit it, it kind of just explodes and immerses you in the center of it, and you can't see a thing until the dust.
It's time now for the course overview. Talking us through this rugged terrain is Ricky Johnson.
Well, Lee, about 20 miles south of Las Vegas, Nevada is a place called Jean. And from this overview, you can see there's a lot of different terrain when you get up close to the mountains and out in the flat deserts. Looking now down at the starting line, you see Dale Dondale, that black truck, all by himself. After the starting line, we get into the Fox Shocks Proving Ground. These bumps are somewhere 3, 4, and 5 feet deep. From there, we go to the quarry. If there is a stadium section in desert racing, this is where it's at. The spectators can get close, but not too close. Got to keep them safe. From there, we go into the Rockets, which is the dry lake bed. Some of the drivers getting over 140 miles an hour, depending on the vehicle that they're in. Then comes Pit A, the first place where the drivers can get fuel, water, and tires. From there, we go into the Joshua Tree Highway. It's very picturesque and beautiful at this point, but as a driver, this part of this track will get rougher and rougher as the day goes on. From there, we're down at the far south end of the course, Pit B, another place for a driver to get more tires, more fuel, whatever he needs. At this point, we're on what they call warp zones, the second dry lake bed, where once again, drivers are going over 140 miles an hour. From smooth dry lake bed to huge whoops, the next section is called the Thumpers. Drivers will be roughly about 120 miles an hour, and Lee, you have to stay on top of these whoops to keep your speed rolling.
Approaching the first of two pit areas, known as Pit A and Pit B. And there's a good battle going on between Justin Lofton and this man here, Harley Letner.
Each other out. It's the course that's knocking these guys down one by one.
Pat Dean doing well in the top 5.
Pat Dean has won pretty much every off-road race in the world in Class 1, and that's why he's so strong out here in Nevada. Here we see Bryce Menzies to the floor across the dry lake. At this stage of the race, Lee, Bryce has to take chances. He has to push the event. He can't wait for anything else.
Still 1.5 laps to go. And look at the impact of the wind. Look at how strong that is.
For the spectators, they hate it, but for the drivers, as you can see, you can come up close to them because if it works to your advantage, it blows the dust out of the way. If you're going into the wind, sometimes it's the worst thing possible. You can't see it all.
Look at how close Tavo is to Pastrana, and look at how badly damaged his truck is.
Well, Lee, these are fiberglass bodies, and they're on there for that reason. So if something happens, they don't peel up and they don't become a hazard to the drivers. If they do, they just peel away. Here we see Tavo catching up to Travis, and Travis is catching 2 buggies as well. So we have a race in the middle of the desert.